one way we don't describe God very often in church is funny. Do you think God is funny? Somebody who lives in the clouds and likes harp music, and you don't think that's funny? I think God is very funny because He's made some very funny looking things. Now, I go to school with Jackie, and I happen to know that Jackie has some really funny looking friends, for example. And I don't just mean me. So I want to show you a picture of one of Jackie's best friends.
Does anyone know what kind of an animal this funny-looking creature is? Everyone does. Let's say it all together. Platypus. That's right, the duck-billed platypus. Now, is he a funny-looking creature? What's funny about him? His feet, everything. He's pretty funny-looking, right? And John and I were thinking, I think the existence of this funny, furry creature is evidence of God's humor. Because God must have been laughing a little bit when God created this guy, don't you think? But, you want to know what else? The features of this duck-billed platypus are actually functional, which means that each of the funny little features actually serves a purpose for this guy. So see this? He swims in the water, but he has furry fur. Do we ever see that usually? A fur? Guess what? That actually stores in his heat and insulates the platypus to keep him warm, or her. His beak is actually a sensory organ. It can sense that he's swimming around, and his mouth is on the bottom side. And do you know what the funniest part of the duck-billed platypus is? On his hind foot, he has a spur that delivers venom to anything that might try to attack him. So as funny as the platypus is also functional. And dangerous.
Now, these are some of my best friends. You know what these guys are called? Narwhals. Yes. They are awesome. First of all, being a whale is already really cool. You live in the ocean, you get to swim around. Nobody makes fun of you for having thousands of pounds of extra blubber. I mean, how great it is to be a whale. But what can make a whale even more awesome? A huge tusk. Now, back in the medieval times when people believed in unicorns, people from Iceland who had seen narwhals would sell these tusks and at first they tried selling them in Europe by saying they're huge tusks of whales, and everybody said that's ridiculous. So they said, they're unicorn horns. And people said, oh, that sounds more realistic. And they started buying them because nobody believed that whales would have tusks. But these tusks have two really important things they do. They're not just funny looking. Yes? I don't know if a narwhal's ever tried that. But that's actually not what they're for. First of all, they live in really cold oceans. But, like all whales, they breathe air, they can't breathe underwater like fish do. So they need to get to the surface, even if there's lots of ice on the surface. So what do you think they use these tusks for? To break the ice. Yeah. That might help get away from scary creatures too. Yeah, they can break through the ice, so they can breathe, get away from scary creatures. And then the second most important thing they do with them, and this is real, they impress the girl narwhals. Wikipedia said it, so it has to be true. So, again, even things that look funny, God has designed with a purpose in mind.
How about this? Do we know who this is? It's close to an anteater, but it's related. Do you know? Say it again? No, it's not. Close, though. We're getting really warm here. Starts with an A. Anyone?
It's right after the Aubergs in the phone book.
I saw it again there. Do you know? Close. Anyone? I think I heard it from around here somewhere. Aardvark. That's right. This is an aardvark. its features very similar to a pig. Do you know what's really special about the nose here? And his front legs? He can dig so quickly that he can dig up to 2 feet in 15 seconds. Can you believe that? Can you imagine digging 2 feet that quickly? What about the snout? You can't see it in this picture, but aardvarks have a long, sticky tongue. And does anyone know what aardvarks eat?
Yeah.
Right, like an anteater, ants and termites. And did you know that his long, sticky tongue, or hers, can eat up to 50,000 ants or termites in one night? So I think that's pretty functional for this silly creature. Do you have a hand up? No? Alright, so there's the aardvark, another funny-looking creature, but very useful.
Now, I just want to show you one more animal. I think it's the most adorable, cute creature that I've ever seen. Isn't that adorable? You just want to snuggle it and have it play in your house. This guy is called, and you don't get to say this word much in church, the naked mole rat. So, why do you think we call him naked? Yeah, because he is. I can't believe he went to church dressed like this. He's got no fur. And look at these gorgeous 2 front teeth. Aren't those cute and snuggly? And then you see he has eyes here, but he's actually blind. You can't see out of those eyes. Now you'd think, being kind of ugly and being blind and having 2 huge front teeth doesn't always seem like the way to be the cutest animal in the pet store. But, do you know where naked mole rats live? Underground, in the dark, where nobody can see what you look like. So, first of all, the eyes don't see because they don't need to. They live underground in the dark. And it doesn't have fur because if you were going around through dirty tunnels all of your life, your fur would get dirty. And you'd spend all of your time, like some of your cats do, just licking yourself clean. Doing nothing useful, just always taking baths. But the naked mole rat doesn't have time for all these baths, so he doesn't need any of the fur. Now, so Jack and I have some funny-looking friends. Platypus, narwhal, aardvark, naked mole rat. And God has created all of these uniquely. And they're all special. Now, all of you guys look different than each other. All of us are different from each other. But even differences that sometimes make us laugh or seem silly are part of how God makes us able to do the work God needs us to do. So, platypuses need to swim and stay safe from predators. And aardvarks need to eat bugs. Narwhals need to breathe under ice. And naked mole rats don't want to waste all their time taking baths. And God has created each of these creatures to function like they need to.